Welcome to the Mixing and Mastering Cheat Sheet Binder. Today, we're going to demystify the complex world of audio engineering. Whether you're a beginner or looking to sharpen your workflow, this guide is designed to make professional quality sound feel intuitive and accessible. Let's dive into the roadmap for making your tracks sound like world-class productions. Before we get into the technical details, I'm Caleb Lovelace from Mastering.com. I want to personally welcome you to our community. This binder is a powerful reference tool, but remember that it's accompanied by an in-depth video course. You can see these concepts in action within a DAW by scanning the QR code on your screen or visiting our website. It's the best way to bridge the gap between theory and practice. Every great mix starts with a solid plan. We break the process down into 3 phases: building a foundation, where we organize and set levels; mixing the tracks, where we focus on vocal and instrument balance; and the finishing touches, where we add space and emotion. Following this roadmap ensures you don't get lost in the details before the big picture is established. Organization is the secret weapon of fast, efficient mixers. By following these 12 steps, like consistent color coding, grouping instruments into buses, and setting up your song section labels, you free up your brain to focus on the creative decisions. Don't skip the boring stuff, like gain staging and setting your buffer size. A stable session is the only way to achieve a professional result. Phase 1 is all about the foundation. We start by gain staging the kick to -5 dBFS, and then balancing the bass against it to hit a specific VU target based on your genre. Once the low end and snare are set, we perform a limiter stress test. By pushing the mix into a limiter early on, we can see if our foundation holds up, or if it distorts, allowing us to fix issues before the mix gets too complex. Mixing often involves solving puzzles. This cheat sheet covers common problems like a hollow kick or harsh vocals. The key is to identify the symptom first. For instance, if a snare is too thin, you likely need a boost in the low mids around 250 Hz. If the bass is clashing with the kick, sidechain compression is usually your best friend. Beyond technical fixes, mixing is emotional storytelling. Think of your instruments as the environment for the vocal. Use contrast, like moving from a narrow, dry verse to a wide, wet chorus, to guide the listener's focus. Every automation move and every EQ cut should serve the narrative arc of the song, making the listener feel exactly what the artist intended. Stereo width is essential for a professional sound. A great starting point is LCR panning, placing your core elements like vocals, kick, and snare dead center, while pushing guitars and overheads hard left and right. This pushed-out approach creates a massive sound stage, leaving just a few elements in the halfway positions to fill the gaps without cluttering the center. Understanding the frequency spectrum is like learning a new language. We describe sounds using terms like boxy for too much low mid energy, or brittle for an excess of highs. Use this chart to translate what you're hearing into specific frequency ranges. If a mix feels dull, you're likely lacking energy in the highs above 10 kHz. Building on that, this frequency balance chart helps you identify where to cut and where to boost. For example, if your mix sounds muddy, you likely have a buildup in the 200 to 400 Hz range. Conversely, if it sounds thin or weak, you might need to gently boost those same areas to add warmth and body. Let's break the spectrum into 5 zones. The low end is where your kick and bass live. The high mids are the danger zone, where our ears are most sensitive to harshness, and the high end is where the magic and air reside. Mastering these ranges allows you to give every instrument its own pocket of space. To manipulate these frequencies, we use the EQ. The Q determines how wide your filter is, while different filter types like high pass or shells allow you to either cut out unwanted noise or boost broad areas for tone. Think of EQ as a surgical tool for cleaning and a paintbrush for enhancing. There are 4 main ways to use EQ. First, remove gross resonant frequencies with narrow cuts. Second, enhance good qualities with wider boosts. Third, use it creatively, like the megaphone effect. And fourth, use it to carve out space. For example, cutting the guitar's mids so the vocal can sit comfortably on top. Your EQ arsenal should be divided into 3 categories. Transparent EQs for surgical cleaning, tonal EQs like the Neve 1073 for adding musical character, and harmonic EQs or saturation for adding grit and excitement. Knowing which tool to grab for a specific job is a hallmark of an experienced engineer. Now let's talk about dynamics. Compression, limiting, and clipping all control volume, but in different ways. Compression is subtle and rhythmic, limiting is a hard ceiling often used in mastering, and clipping chops off peaks to maintain punch, without the pumping sound sometimes caused by heavy compression. A compressor might look intimidating, but it's just an automatic volume fader. The threshold tells it when to start working, the ratio tells it how much to turn down, and the attack and release determine how quickly it reacts. The goal is to use the gain reduction meter to see exactly how much energy you're shaving off. There are 3 ways to use a compressor: to control dynamic range for consistency, to shape the sound by accentuating the attack, or to glue a group of instruments together on a bus. Each method requires different settings, moving from fast and aggressive for control to slower and more musical for character. Setting up a mix bus compressor is an art form. Start with a slow attack and fast release, then adjust until the needle breathes in time with the tempo of the song. You're looking for about 1 to 2 decibels of gain reduction. This provides that professional finished sound where all the tracks feel like they belong in the same space. Your dynamics arsenal includes classic emulations, like the 1176 for fast peaks, and the LA-2A for smooth leveling. We also use saturation and clippers to add perceived loudness. Having a mix of these utility and character plugins allows you to handle any dynamic challenge a recording might throw at you. Reverb creates the room for your mix. I recommend using 2 auxiliary channels, one for ambience, to push things back slightly, and one for room tone, to give instruments a noticeable space. By using separate buses, you can send different amounts of each instrument to create a 3D sense of depth. Once your reverb sends are set, use an EQ before the reverb plugin to clean it up. High-passing your reverb prevents the low end from becoming muddy, while shelf filters can make the space feel darker or brighter. Always turn your reverbs up until they sound good, then back them off by 1 or 2 decibels. Subtlety is key. For spatial processing, look to various types of reverbs like plates, halls, and chambers. Delays are equally important for creating depth without washing out the mix. Tools like Echo Boy or Valhalla Delay are industry standards because they offer incredible control over the rhythm and tone of the reflections. A classic trick for an exciting, wide vocal is the stereo delay. By setting the left and right delay times slightly apart, say, 75 milliseconds on the left and 100 on the right, you create a sense of width and space that doesn't bury the vocal the way a large reverb might. Just like with reverb, always EQ your vocal delay. Focus the energy between 300 Hz and 3 kHz. This mid-focused delay stays out of the way of the lead vocal's low-end body and high-end air, ensuring the effect adds character without causing clutter. If you want a more natural, lush vocal, a plate or hall reverb is the way to go. Use a pre-delay of 30 to 100 milliseconds. This creates a tiny gap between the vocal and the reverb, keeping the lyrics clear and up front while still allowing the beautiful tail of the reverb to bloom behind it. To finish the vocal reverb, apply the same EQ and volume balancing techniques we discussed. If the reverb makes the vocal sound muddy, cut the low mids in the reverb channel. Always blend the reverb in slowly and then back it off slightly to ensure it supports the vocal rather than overwhelming it. Noise gates are essential for cleaning up recordings, especially drums. A gate stays closed, silencing background noise, until the audio hits a certain threshold. The MATAC determines how fast the gate opens, while hold and release control how it closes, preventing that unnatural chopped-off sound. Advanced gating uses hysteresis to set a range for closing the gate, which prevents it from rapidly flickering. You can also use sidechaining to have one instrument trigger the gate of another, or ducking to lower the volume of a guitar whenever the vocal is present. These are the nuances that lead to a clean, professional mix. To use a gate effectively, start with the lowest reduction and threshold. Gradually adjust the attack and release until the instrument sounds natural. For a more transparent result, don't reduce the noise to total silence. Letting a tiny bit of the original signal through often sounds much more musical. Finally, never mix in a vacuum. Use reference tracks to compare your production, frequency balance, dynamics, and use of space against professional releases. Ask yourself, does my low end match the reference? Is my vocal as dry or wet? Referencing is the final check that ensures your mix will translate perfectly to the outside world.